Vignette number 35 from Zen is right here, teaching stories and anecdotes of Shunryu Suzuki. My family and I returned to San Francisco after being away from the Zen Center for a year. When I saw Roshi, I said, "I think I got a little lost." He replied, "You can never get lost." That was Tony Johansson McCarthy at the City Center of Zen Center in San Francisco, 1969. Toni, T-O-N-I, as opposed to her husband. She was Toni Johansson, and he was Tony Johansson, T-O-N-Y. And I was just reading about her in reading chapter 14 of Crooked Cucumber. It starts off with her picking up Suzuki at Sokoji and driving him to Los Altos. They were two of the regulars at Los Altos, where Suzuki gave the Zen Mind Beginner's Mind lectures, and drove him there quite a bit. And she had many good stories. And this is, I looked at that. You can never get lost. And Suzuki was very reassuring in that way. That is the typical thing for him to say. We lose everything in life. All the wealth we gain, all the fame we gain, all the loves we have, everything we hold dear. Our precious small self, all the things we're attached to, we lose it. The one thing we can't lose is not a thing. It's our true nature, our true self, or any of the other things I could say that could then be denied that there's any such thing. That's one way of saying it. You can never get lost. Another way of saying it is, you hear a lot, is we keep searching and searching and never finding what we're searching for because we've already got it. And that's an age-old teaching, and it's certainly at the core of Zen. We're not trying to gain some enlightenment. We're trying to just realize our enlightenment. We're trying to wake up to our true nature. So it's there, although it, as the sixth patriarch was enlightened in hearing, it has no abode. So there's, like Oakland, there's no there. And back to losing everything. Our self, our history, our loved ones. We're not really losing them because everything we're attached to is like a reflection of our true nature. What's real about it is that which we'll never lose. So we will always be together. Tony, here I'm going to read. She's got a great interview on Cuke.com. she says, I took back my maiden name October 19th, 1995. I took back my maiden name because my brother in the Dharma and former husband was also Tony Johansson. So she, at some point they went separate ways and she started being Tony McCarthy. But as she said, he was still her brother in the Dharma. And she said, I met Suzuki Roshi in 1964. I'd taken acid as therapy after a postpartum depression and had an experience so powerful that I decided I needed to find a teacher so that I could live more in tune with what I'd experienced. And it didn't occur to me to continue taking it because it was such a difficult experience, though so wonderful. So I went places like the Catholic Church and explained to the priests that I'd had this experience and we're all one and we're all with God and we're all at the center of the universe and everything is happening at once, the eternal present, and that he was there too, and that it wasn't my experience, it was our experience, everybody's, and we were all there. And right now, in this moment, when I was talking to him, I wasn't in that consciousness. I just knew it was true because I'd experienced it, and it was so much deeper than my ordinary experience that I knew it was true. And he told me that was heresy, and that's what they used to burn people at the stake for. No, he didn't say the second part then, she says. I was at that time a housewife with 2 young children, and so every Sunday I'd go looking. I went to the Unitarian Church, I went to the Quakers and the Jodo Shin Temple in Palo Alto, and I would say what I was looking for. And there was a Caucasian Sunday school teacher in his 30s at the ladder. And that fellow said to me, you need to meet this Zen master. He comes once a week on Thursday morning to a student's house in Palo Alto. It was at the boarding house of Tim Burkett. I went there. We sat in the living room where they had to move the piano and furniture, and we sat facing the wall, and I thought, this is ridiculous. Reverend Suzuki, as we called him, only went there a couple of times before he started going to Marion Derby's. We started the same day. For some reason, this had been going on for quite a while. There was a morning thing at Tim's, and he came back the same evening to Redwood City. Marion and I were driving around in separate cars looking for the address, and we stopped, and I said, are you looking for the Zen talk? And she said, maybe he gave us the wrong address, and this is a test. But we found it. When I went that morning and was sitting facing the wall, I thought, this can't be it either. This is too rigid and patriarchal and Japanese, and I'm not going to sit facing the wall like this. It felt very masculine, not very soft. And he hadn't arrived yet, and I was thinking, I don't think so, but I'd like to meet this fellow. So I remember he came in the door with his robes on and walking behind me, and I don't know why that impressed me so, but things just changed when he walked in, and I thought, And then when it was over and the bell was rung and we turned around on our cushions and faced him, I remember turning around and looking at him and being about 6 feet from him, and I thought, oh, I think so. Reverend Suzuki, as we called him, only went there a couple of times before he started going to Marion Derby's. All right. So, anyway, that's how she got going. She was a real character. You know, she got a little lost later in life, too. And I don't know what happened to her. In fact, I don't know if anybody does. And she had a pretty tough time later on in life. Tony, her husband, has died. He told me that before he died. And I don't know, that was 10 years ago or something. And I hope that, Tony, if you're still around, that you remember what Suzuki Roshi said to you. I will keep it in mind. You can never be lost. This has been a Cuke Audio mini podcast. I'm DC Poobah of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, coming to you from sleepy Sanur, with Dogette Bandita and Feline Cuchita and dear lovely Katrinka. Wishing you and yours a grand awakening.